can sometimes be confusing to tell the difference between an oligopoly and a monopolistic competitor. So here are your tests. Remember, there are some similarities between oligopolies and monopolistic competitors. They both sell similar but not identical products, and their products have substitutes. But there are also some crucial differences. The two most crucial differences between oligopolies and monopolistic competitors are in the number of firms and whether or not those firms dominate, the largest firms dominate the market. So monopolistic competition has a large number of firms, and none of those firms will dominate the market. An oligopoly could also potentially have a large number of firms, but generally it's a smaller number of firms. And most importantly, only a very small number of firms control the market. So we're looking at two things: number of firms, and even more importantly, market control. So we have two ways that we can check for that. Our two tests to check for market domination or market control are the 4-firm concentration ratio, sometimes called the 440 rule, or the Herfindahl index. The concentration ratio is probably the simpler test. You find out what the market shares are. A market share is the percentage of sales in the market that are attributable to that firm. And you add together the 4 largest market shares. The 4 largest market shares. If your results of adding together the market shares of the 4 biggest firms is greater than 40, it's probably an oligopoly. The 440 rule. 4 firms, and those 4 firms, the 4 biggest firms, comprise at least 40% of all the sales in that market. You probably have an oligopoly. The Herfindahl index is a little more specific. It's sometimes called the Herfindahl-Hirschman index, I'm missing an L there, sorry, or the HHI. So the HHI involves, the Herfindahl index involves the 50 largest firms, and you square each firm's market share, each individual firm's market share, and you add those results together. So you take the largest firm, you take its share, you square it. You add it to the square of the second largest firm's market share. You add it to the square of the third largest market share firm, and so on and so forth. So interpreting the results of the Herfindahl index. If your result is less than 100, you have a highly competitive industry. There's no concentration at all. If you're less than 1,500, it's still not concentrated. If you are between 1,500 and 2,500, it's moderately concentrated. If you're greater than 2,500, it's highly concentrated. And the most concentrated you could possibly be would be one firm, a single firm, a monopoly. In that case, your Herfindahl index would be 10,000, 100 squared. So for both tests, bigger numbers are more likely to be oligopolies. And that's probably the question you're going to encounter. You're probably going to be asked to add together a 4-firm concentration ratio and interpret the results. Remember, 40 is your divider line. Or you might be given a series of Herfindahl indices and be asked to decide which one is most likely to be a monopolistic competitor or which one is most likely to be an oligopoly. Remember, bigger oligopoly, smaller competitive.